Welcome gamers to another video on Marvel Snap. Today we're going to be talking about the hot location of the week, Nidavellir. So let's take a look at some of the cards that are going to be most useful for you for this week's hot location. Okay, the location of Nidavellir. Anyway, it gives cards here +5 power. So let's take a look at some of these cards. The first one that I would suggest is you can probably count on your opponent trying to add cards to this location to gain the benefit of the hot location as well. So you can assume that they might end up with 4 cards here. So Mojo would end up getting +6 power for an 8 power, plus the 5 gives him a total of 13 power for only 2 cost. One strategy you could use is to try to flood the board with cards. Either on your opponent's side or on yours. The first card I would suggest for that is Green Goblin, flooding their side of the board. With the +5 power that he would get, he would still be at a 2 power, but the -3 takes up a spot where they could put a much more powerful card. Next we have Debris. Debris also clogs up their side of the board. If you play Debris in a location other than Nidavellir, then it will throw a rock with 0 power into that location. Again, that card would get a +5, but any card you play on your side would be worth more points, as it would probably have more than 0 power. Brood is a powerful card, as he creates 2 broodlings at the same location. So for the 3 cost, you could have 3 7 power cards at this location. You could even then beef them up by adding in Quicksilver, if you have him, who would then give an additional 3 power to each of those cards. Along the same lines as Quicksilver, you could add in Khazar. Khazar gives +1 power to all of your 1 cost cards. So if you're going to fill up the location with some lower cost cards, then you could use Khazar in another location to add extra power to each of them on top of the 5 they're going to get from the location. Venom is an interesting play, as when he eats the other cards there, the +5 power that they have from the location gets transferred to him for each of the ones that he eats. So a card in that location with 1 power gets the +5 for 6. If he eats it, he gets 6 power, not just the 1. Iron Man doubles the points at this location. So each of those +5s on those cards that you have effectively become +10 power at this location. So Iron Man can be a card to add a lot of value late in the game. Another late game play that could have a lot of value is Shang-Chi. Shang-Chi played on turn 6 could destroy any cards there with 9 or more power. And with cards getting +5 power for being there, anything they play that normally has 4 power or more is going to be up over that 9 power limit. So on the last turn, you could take out several of their cards. And finally, a card that I don't have yet, Magneto. Magneto pulls 3 and 4 cost cards to the location where you play Magneto, potentially pulling some of the 3 and 4 cost cards out of that location on turn 6, giving you the win with the cards that you still have that remain. So those are my suggestions for cards to play during this week's hot location, Nidavellir. Remember, the hot location shows up in 60% of your matches, so a little more than half. You don't want to just throw all of these cards in one deck because you still need to find other win conditions. However, adding 1 or 2 of these cards to a deck, or using a deck that already has some of these cards, could net you a lot of value. That's going to do it for today's video. Until we talk again, keep on snapping.